Good morning, everybody. How are you? I wish you a beautiful, beautiful week. This is the week of the spring equinox. I am Fotini. I'm talking to you from Athens, Greece. I am a self-knowledge consultant, esoteric astrologer, writer, artist. I am an activator of higher consciousness. And this video is about Mary Magdalene and how we met in this lifetime. I was guided to bring forth my story. There is also another video in the channel about my story, but this is specifically about Mary. I want to share my story with her because what is needed right now for many out there is a conscious reshaping of the relationship with their mother, because it's the mother that represents not only the physical human through which you came into this incarnation, but it's also the connection with your country, the connection with Earth, and eventually the connection that your soul has with your Akashic records. And I will explain. I have created, among other things, my codes and my book, an oracle deck about the sacred unions that from 2026 and forward they will begin to shape upon Earth. And sacred union is the template of relationship based on soul tribes, not ego, not personality, not the human aspect. This is the highest timeline available upon Earth right now. But before that, you have to cross the threshold between your human embodiment into the soul embodiment. And this is passing through Magdala, your amygdala. And there you will find the beautiful light of Mary. The essence of the Divine Mother, expressed through Isis, Mary, Inanna, Ishtar, Demeter in Greece, and all the deities who have embodied as archetypes the essence of the Divine Mother. Currently, in our evolutionary states, it's Mary, but also Venus. They are both one and the same in different layers. So, in 2016, I was guided to visit the Glastonbury Tor and Michael's Tor, and the church where Mary Magdalene is said that has visited with John of Arimathea. When I entered the Tor, I was immediately connected with the highest timeline, that is Avalon. And Avalon is where there is the sacred love connected with Mother Earth. At that point, almost 10 years ago, I went on the 8th of February 2016, exactly 6 days after my birthday. It's exactly 10 years, the cycle is closed. I was shown that in my third eye 10 days ago, so it was time to share my story. So as soon as I entered the door, I immediately enter the highest timeline of Avalon, and was connected with the Earth Star Chakra, but most importantly with the heart of Mother Gaia. Little did I know then what will be unfolding the next 10 years. I then, the following day, visited the Chalice Wells and also the Church of Mary, and I saw the glass windows with her carrying the blue rose. I am a blue rose. I had to remember that, but I did 2 years later, and then 3 years when she guided me to start my program, The Way of the Rose. The blue rose is the highest lineage of the rose, carrying the energies of the High Priestess, but especially the energies of Isis from Sirius. When I left Glastonbury, I had seen in my dream state how this incarnation has started, my higher self in the safety of the heart of Mother Gaia, guided me to a period before and during my conception in this lifetime, and then my birth, and then my first month. And it was in that period when the traumas were activated. So as you can understand, this trauma had to do with my mother, who was a karmic mother with whom I had too much to resolve in this lifetime. But my soul had decided that this was the life that this will end it, this will complete it. It was the toughest 10 years of my life. In many stages, it wasn't sure that I would survive, but I did. And I wouldn't have done it without the Celestial Mother, Mary. She appeared. I am sorry that I am touched while I'm speaking about her. She appeared when I needed her in many ways. But I want to talk about our first encounter, and that was in Assisi, Italy, Umbria, in a spiritual center, Ananda, that was founded by Kriyananda, the son of Yogananda, in the Easter celebration in 2016. By the way, Assisi is where Lord Kuthumi, the Ascended Master of the Second Ray, had a life there as Francis of Assisi. Kuthumi has worked with me also as a Chohan of Second Ray. I am a Second Ray monad, and has guided me with astrology, given me two beautiful exercises that I'm using with my students in astrology, and I use it in all esoteric readings and in the Way of the Rose. That's a side note. So, at the celebration of light in the Ananda Center, the Easter of 2016, I met Mary for the first time. I was sitting with a friend of mine, an Italian friend, who had a home in the region. And next to her, we were eating all together in a very big dining room with members of the center celebrating Easter. And right next to my friend, two other women were sitting. One was Italian, and she was the escort of another woman wearing yellow from Slovakia, an elderly woman around the age of 75, as if I remember it correct. And we were talking about various things, and suddenly, as I looked into the elderly woman, I saw a vision of a lady wearing white above her, and without knowing, a beautiful energy came to me, and I said, "This is Mary. This is Mary Magdalene." It just came out of my mouth without knowing. It was so random, so sudden. I have never felt her up till that moment. I had sensed various Ascended Master. I had seen Michael with my own eyes in front of me as my third eye is open. But I hadn't experienced her. Then the woman, the elder woman, although she wasn't speaking much till that moment, looked at me. Her eyes wasn't so clear until that moment when she stared at me and said to me, "My name is Mary. My name is Magdalene." And I was astonished, and her escort, the friend of my friend, told me, "She's telling the truth. Her name is Magdalene. She's from Slovakia." And right at that moment, we started talking, and I was telling her that I was about to come back to Greece, and I had planned to do a tour around the sacred temples of Greece with a friend of mine from Canada about the Divine Feminine and the sacred masculine, opening the temples in Greece, in an international gathering of women around the world. The funny thing is that I didn't know anything about all this. I had met with this friend in an astrology seminar with a very well-known astrologer from the United States, who, by the way, when he met me, he told to me, "What are you doing here? You had nothing to learn from me. I had to learn from you." And after she left Greece, he sent me an email telling me, "Thank you very much for being with me and stabilizing the energies." But anyway, so somehow this friend of mine from Canada and I were met again. The first time was that seminar, but then we met again, and he spoke about this astrologer would come to Greece again at the summer of 2016, and he suggested, why don't we do something together? And randomly, out of the blue, I told him, yes, we are going to do a tour about the divine feminine and the sacred masculine. And I remember him telling me, what is that? And I told him, it's a time that this sacred power come together and open the temples, because the temple path is the path of the sacred union. At that point, no one was speaking about that in 2016. No one, especially in Greece, but generally. So I started to talking with Magdalene, the elder woman. She shared with me her story. She had lost her son when she was younger, and he was just a baby. She had terrible relationship with her family and her sister, and so she had retired and was living in Assisi near the Ananda Center. Ananda, by the way, means heart. And she started talking about when she visited Greece 40 years ago, and she remembered everything about the Oracle of Delphi. Of course, later, when I was in Oracle of Delphi doing the tour, I was shown that I was an oracle too. But anyway, I was an oracle and a priestess in many Greek temples, and in Egypt too. And while we were talking, I spoke about the upcoming tour. Up to that moment, when I was sharing what we were preparing to do, we didn't have any attendees yet. And I was sharing with Magdalene my, not fear, but my doubt whether I should do that or not. She looked me in the eye and told me, very seriously with I. That was the message from Sirius. You have to do this tour. It's not only about you, it's about many. No matter what, do the tour. And then she told me, please, I want to gift you two things that I want you to take with you. And together we went to the gift shop on the Ananda Center, and she gifted me a pink rose lotus flower that I still have, of course, and the story of Yogananda. She told me to keep the rose lotus, the rose quartz lotus, and to do healing with the rose quartz to heal my heart. I left Assisi and returned to Greece, and 2 months later, in June, I did the tour opening the temples in Greece and reconnect with her again in Delphi, when again she appeared in front of me and guided me what to do there with the feminines, but also for the first time she showed me the energy of my divine masculine from the higher dimensions. When the whole tour ended, I was initiated both by Mary and Aphrodite also. And then I continue my path, doing other things. We were always connected, but especially in the summer of 2019, she appeared again and gave me specific instruction that I had to start a program by the name of the Way of the Rose. And she pointed out to me that our name, our initial, for me it's Phi, Fotini, it's the 21st letter of the Greek alphabet, and hers is the is the 12M, the 12. So 12 and 21 are opposite. She appeared again in my sleep, in a dream state, but in full consciousness, and she guided me to start the program, The Way of the Rose, that will help me embody the Rose Priestess template and guided me to the Greek island of Anafi, which means the island without snakes. And she told me that I had to open a page, the Garden of the Rose. At the beginning it was the Garden of Eden and then the Garden of the Roses, where I could share the codes, the activations, and start the programs with feminine around the world, which of course I did. I'm still working with that after 7 years. 7 is the number of the 7 seals, and the 7 seals are the 7 seals that were put in my 7 chakra, but also in the 7 chakras of all feminines. And that was done after the fall of Atlantis. Mary came again 3 years ago with Yeshua this time, which, by the way, it's my teacher since 2005. And while I was in the process of healing the mother wound, She appeared to take the place of my mother, as a mother. She guided me to use certain colors and certain times. She helped me softening my heart and opening my heart to the sacred love. She helped me especially with her tender presence without pushing me. She offered the gentle, together with Mother Mary, of course, the gentle presence of what it means to be a divine feminine, and especially a rose priestess. She offered me many information that I'm sharing with women in my session. She reminded me of all the lives that I had in the temples as soul, and in Sirius too, with Isis. All the initiation, the ceremonies, everything, and helped me to ground them without fear, accepting my feminine aspect, loving it, embracing it. But the most important thing that he offered me was the full acceptance of love, of what love truly is. She is the light of love. So, when I created the oracle deck of the sacred unions and talked about Venus, by the way, these are 44 sacred transmission oracles, where together with the paintings there is a specific message. And in the fourth card, the message is that every relationship that we have in our lives is similar to the connection that we had with our mothers. And until when we totally accept, not forgive, accept what happened and why, and replace that wound with self-love, the love of self that so gracefully Mary offered to me, we cannot proceed in any kind of relationship, especially sacred union. This is not about forgiveness. This is an old way of seeing things. On the contrary, it's an expansion of the heart, accepting that love never, never, never wounds, never create any wound whatsoever. It's the lack of love. So if you give yourself the kind of love that the Divine Mother, which by the way I'm carrying the code 13, that the Divine Mother is offering to you through the connection with any of the deities like Mary, Mother Mary, Isis, Ishtar, Demeter, it doesn't matter how you call it. You cannot connect with anyone or anything, for that matter, upon this earth plane. For the simple reason that you cannot receive. Your heart is not open. And if your heart is not open, you cannot magnetize, which is what a divine feminine is. And I cannot be more grateful of what she and Mother Mary offered to me, to my human vessel, to my human self, because my soul is eternal. My soul is complete. My soul wanted to be fully embodied so that she can thrive in this lifetime and to close old cycles. And because through the amygdala, it's the place where we store the trauma, and when the light of love, which is Yeshua, is passing through the amygdala, the whole body is enlightened, is in the light of love. But that's why the scripture said that Mary was the first who saw him, because through her and her energy, you can identify the beloved. First within and then with the outer. But as she explained to me this morning, there is no in and out. It's one space. What is separating is our perception of reality. That is the trauma. So her message today is a message of High Priestess, that she was also together with Lady Mary in the temples of Isis, both in Syria and in Egypt. The message is that if you want to proceed and create a new life through your soul, embodied in this physical vessel, you have to follow the way of the rose, the techniques, the embodiment, the codes, through the help of them. And if you want to experience a sacred bond with another, beyond labels, beyond old paradigms and old scriptures, the way is again the way of the rose. That is not to say that this is the only way. By saying that it's this or nothing else. No. What Mary taught me every day when she speaks in my head is, you are free to want whatever you want, to do whatever you like, to accept fully yourself, fully your feelings, fully your desires and find a way to best accomplish them. So whether you choose the Way of the Rose, the educational program where I will introduce you to all these methods, and of course you will have the chance to talk with her and Yeshua and others, but mostly with your soul, or you pick anything else, it's up to you. This video is an open statement and declaration of love, gratitude, and soulful love for her, and a promise to her, but also to my soul, that what she guided me to accept and see, above all, it's now taking shape. Thank you very much for listening. If you would like to have an introduction session with me to read your chart or anything else, you can find my mail in the description box and we can start working. If not, I would like to subscribe to the channel if you find the content interesting or helpful for you or useful. And again, these are both exciting but also challenging times when people are called by their souls to embody the energies of the true self. Will they listen? I don't know. It's up to each and everyone. There is love everywhere. If only one can open his own eyes and see. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful week, and we'll talk again about the new moon in Pisces. Bye.